Hello friends, welcome to Career Plot. This brings us to the third lecture, the marketing mix, part 1. Now before we move on, we'll discuss a bit of marketing mix, a term called marketing mix. Marketing mix was a term which was coined by Neil Borden. He was a professor of marketing in Harvard Business School, and from the duration, I think early 1900s, from 1890 to 1980s, that duration. And he was the one who figured out that why marketing should be done in this way. So marketing mix is a collection of 4 important elements. It's called product, place, price, and promotion. Now all 4 P's, these need to work together to make a company successful, because if any of the P's is missing, a company is going to go haywire in their marketing strategies, and the marketing strategy is not working, the product placement will not happen rightly, the positioning will go wrong, the targeting will go wrong, and obviously there's no consumer to buy that product. That means 4 P's of marketing have to be really good onto that. So these 4 P's were defined by Neil Borden after a lot of research, that first, the product has to be really high quality, right? So let's go to product. What is product? A product is an actual entity which is sold by the company. Now, a product can be physical, for example, cars, bikes, telephones, cell phones, cameras, or anything which you can feel and touch. That is a product. A finished good is a product. Or product can be very digital. For example, websites, news items, or this course, for example. This is a digital product which you cannot touch, but you can see. You can still enjoy this, or you can learn through this. But those are digital products. Digital products are generally delivered only through the internet. These are virtual products or downloadable products. For example, a software you can download. For example, in the past I have downloaded music players like Winamp, or people download softwares like Adobe Photoshop or Adobe After Effects or any other kind of softwares. Those are downloadable products. Virtual products are like the courses which I'm delivering, or any virtual product like a website, which cannot be taken out, which cannot be installed, but can be used and consumed directly on the PC, on a browser. Physical products, again, like shoes, furniture, anything which you can touch is a physical product. Now these products have to be complete, they have to be high quality. For example, you will not like a 3-legged chair unless it's a really designer chair. I'm not sure how designer chairs work in that sense. And product should deliver what it promises. For example, if a cell phone says it is a cell phone, the least you should be able to do is to talk on the cell phone, right? There is no cell phone which works like a camera, but you cannot talk. So cell phones usually are to talk. For example, similarly, if you buy a light, the light should glow. If the light doesn't glow or doesn't light up, it's not a light anymore. So product has to deliver what it promises. And it has to live up to the life cycle it has been promised to. For example, if a product is supposed to work for 6 to 8 months, or to 1 year or 3 years, it has to work at least that much duration, right? Any product which does not work as per expectations is not a high quality product. So product has to be really high quality as the first fundamental of marketing. Any gaps in the product, the marketing cannot help it too much. Basic marketing can help sell a product, but if the product is weak, the next level of marketing cannot be achieved. Once you have done the product, the place of the product strategy has to be decided. Whether it's a physical location or is it a digital location, again it matters the same thing. Location is basically, or the place is basically where the customer needs to be given the product, where the product will be used, that location. For example, if it is a physical product which can be touched, like shoes, furniture, cell phones, gadgets, they will be at a particular location, like a city, like a home in a particular city, and it will be delivered there. So it matters that part. Even the place considers the logistics of the product. For example, if you are buying a cell phone, it has to be delivered to your place in a nice packaging. It has to be working, no defects at all. Even the packaging has to be correct and delivered at the right time when you have to be there. Right? All the logistics also have to be considered. If it is a digital product, it has to be delivered instantly, for example, or if it promises to be delivered after a few hours or a few minutes, it has to be lived up to that part, and it has to work as expected. Typically, in digital products, websites work instantly. For example, if you log into any news website like CNN or BBC, it will be working as it is right now, unless you are using ad blockers, which might not make the product work. So place is important. In digital cases, it is very straightforward. It is the internet as the place where you can access, unless you are geolocation logged, which means that digital product also works only in certain segments of the location. For example, if I want to use certain services which are not available, if I migrate to India from US, it will not be there. For example, Netflix doesn't work in India. The same catalog which is available in US. Now Netflix launched in India with the geolocated catalog, which is more Indian or Bollywood style. So place matters, and place has to be correct. Selling a US product in India might not work, and similarly selling masalas in US will not be that effective. Price. Now price has to be very, very competitive, very effective. Price can be in two categories again, one aspirational or a product usage. Typically too high priced products cannot sell easily because there has to be a huge effort, and generally only aspirational products are priced too high. For example, designer brands. Let's take up any designer clothes, or you want to wear, or you want to buy a bag of Louis Vuitton, or you want to wear a designer bag, or you want to carry designer perfumes. It has to happen in a high price because it's aspirational product. And it's not easy to sell, and that's why they sell in very limited quantities. Whereas price too low, and it can be considered as a cheap product. For example, a cell phone available for rupees 2,000 bucks, you might think that it's a very cheap cell phone and might not work at all. And generally that happens with cheap products. So price has to be right, and of course it has to take care of all the margins, all the discounts, all the installments. It has to be beneficial price. It cannot be it cannot be loss-making price too. Typically, we will discuss pricing in a later sessions, but there are different types of pricing happening around. It should complement the product, ideally. Like if the product is high quality, price will be a bit higher. But if the product is low quality, price should be lower. You cannot do vice versa. And of course, location of sale matters, medium of sale matters. Generally, no product online sells more than 100,000 rupees or 200,000 rupees because it's just too expensive to buy online. It's not easy to sell. Whereas in physical world, you can buy a furniture of 100,000 rupees easily. Right? So price has to be very, very competitive and very comparative to the product offering. The disproportion should not be there in that. Let's talk the fourth P called promotion. Now, promotion is typically synonymous to advertising. It can be done easily, like you can talk about the nature of the product. You can talk about how the product looks like, what it defines, what it conveys, what the usage of the product is. All the details of the product has to be available to the customer in a different promotions. If it is a TV commercial, it will be crisp in 30 seconds. If it is a newspaper ad, it can be very descriptive. If it is a brochure, it will be containing all the information, including your terms and conditions. And there can be different promotional mediums. It can be advertising, it can be one-to-one personal selling, which is done typically in the case of, let's say, Eureka Folks. They sell vacuum cleaners door to door, right? Dell laptops never had a store. Recently they have started stores now, but Dell laptop used to be selling over through channel partners, or through telephone leads, right? There has to be different sales channels. Promotions can be done through public relations or through sponsorships. For example, I can sponsor an event where my product will be highlighted as as one of the products to be showcased, and people will take notice of my product. So promotions are done in different ways, and that's why you see a lot of sponsorships. For example, cricket matches do get sponsored so that people can notice product. All the cricketers, all the sports persons wear jerseys which have logos of different companies, so that you can notice the names of the companies and the promotion of that company is happening. And this is one of the means of communication. Of course, those are expensive ways of communication. Promotion can be done offline in a different way, or it can be done online in social media channels, on Google Ads, on blogs and websites. So different promotion channels are also there. What all it together, the 4 P's want to do? They want to make sure that they convey the value proposition. Now, value proposition is the promise or the benefits to be delivered by the company to the customer, enabling the customer to experience and enjoy the product as promised in the price, which is very, very complementing to the. Now, 4 elements of this marketing mix do contribute to value proposition. Any of the element goes wrong in the marketing mix and the value proposition is not working as expected. So value proposition is basically a message conveyed to customer that this is a bare minimum promise I make to you, so that the product is bought by you and it will be used by you. Now let's take an example of the whole marketing mix and value proposition. So let's take the example of a company called Apple, right? So you have, you know about iPhones or iPads or MacBooks. So Apple is a product, right? Let's say Apple iPhone is a product. Now once iPhone is a product, the place it sells is in Apple stores. It's sold through resellers. It can be sold in online stores, right? So these are the places available typically, and the price point is very, very high because it is aspirational product. So Apple keeps the price points very high for all the Apple products because they think that the quality is very high typically because the parts used, if you have looked at the videos on YouTube, how Apple iPhones or MacBooks have been constructed and used, you will see that, or you will notice that all the parts have been very, very high quality, and that keeps the price point high, which makes it very aspirational also, because in India, for example, owning Apple has become a status symbol, right? And typically the promotion is also done through very, very simple way. Word of mouth is the biggest benefactor for Apple, that once a person buys an Apple device, they actually promote it. They become the promoters for that device and help their friends buy the same device again. And Apple is using their launch events again and again every year or every 6 months to make sure their products are popular, the new product lines are announced, and the old product lines are taken off, and advertisements in newspapers and TV commercials are most important. Apple does not advertising too much online because they know that they have to reach to the mass media, and in the mass media, TV is the best medium, or the newspapers are the best medium to reach out to a large population. And it works because of the high quality product, and of course aspiration is one of the biggest justifications always been for Apple, because that's how they have positioned their product, right? And It is very easily available in all the markets now, typically, and it is sold through authenticated channels. So typically people will make sure that they buy Apple only from the Apple stores or the resellers, not from anywhere else, because to guarantee the quality of the product. So in this session, we have learned about the marketing mix part 1, where we covered the basic fundamentals of marketing mix, the product, the pricing, the place, and the promotion. Then of course we defined the value proposition and what it means. Value proposition is a term which we'll be looking at again and again and again in every discussion, because whether you're doing a startup of your own, or whether you are a marketing manager, or whether you are a marketing executive, or a product manager, or a CEO, it will be important, because value proposition is a question which every customer or everyone asks you. What is the value proposition of your product? And then we looked at an example of how Apple's iPhone satisfies the marketing mix. Thank you very much.